What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica being back again with another power video. And in this video, I am breaking down season 1, episode 3. Let's get into it. In this episode, we learned something that I think I glossed over when I watched Power for the first time when it premiered. But James doesn't drink anymore. And we learned that in this episode. I think Ghost takes this girl almost ODing in the bathroom very hard because it's the first time that the other thing has entered his new thing and kind of is tainting it. And it wasn't even his product. Truth is Ghost's first step in running from the life. And it's right there on the counter in his big shiny club, staring back at him and threatening to get him shut down. Because girls dropping in the bathroom ain't a good look or good for business. The note I made at the start of this video about Ghost not drinking is in reference to Kantos asking to get him a drink after he handles that whole situation. And I think I glossed over it when we first hear it because we don't necessarily know that we need to be looking out for it, but this becomes a theme or a potential vice that becomes ever present throughout the series, not necessarily in season 1. Over on Angela's side of town, Greg reveals that Angela cuts corners to get a win as we see them roll up on Omar at the start of this episode. And we learn this important character beat about her the same way that we kind of get that important character beat about Ghost. And just like for him, this note will play out for her throughout the rest of the series, but definitely throughout the rest of this episode. And in this episode, it becomes ever present that Shawn doesn't really know his father at all. Ghost tells him that Kanan was the first one to put the saw in Ghost and Tommy's hands, teaching them how to chop up a body. And Shawn's response is, I didn't know he was like Tommy. Number one, nobody's like Tommy. And number two, your father built Tommy. Boy, what is you talking about? I don't think I ever really registered at the first watch through of Power how detached Shawn was from Kanan. It was almost like he was just his father by name because they didn't know each other at all. In this episode, Ghost is continuing to cause ripples in the pod of their partnership when it comes to family as he sends Tasha to the bank for their monthly audit and checking on their funds and safety deposit by herself, even though she doesn't want to. Because of this, she's able to figure out that he has come once before without her and that never happens and remove money without telling her, but they are supposed to be a team. And of course, this does not help as she's already feeling pushed farther and farther out of Ghost's ever-changing life. Now, Ghost sends her alone because he's trying to get to the bottom of the girl ODing at the night before at the bathroom. And he uses this opportunity to reach out to Angela to get her advice on how to move forward with the girl, what to say, and how to prevent a lawsuit, or worse, how to stop the club from getting shut down because of it. Now, the conversation he has with the girl in the hospital is a double entendre because he says to her, you aren't the first person to use drugs. Maybe this is a push you need to take your life in a different direction. Really, James? I mean, do what you gotta do to work your ish out, bro. I never really realized how many cries for help and I want to get out of the life James actually gave us at the start of this series. Now, going back to Shawn and Kanan real quick, we meet Kanan in this episode because Shawn goes to see him after Ghost told him to do so. Now, Kanan is disappointed because apparently Shawn was supposed to be some big time basketball player and he needs to rehab his knee. He got injured, but it doesn't look like that's going to actually ever happen. And in this conversation, he learns that now Shawn is up under Ghost, under his tutelage. While Ghost is still taking care of him, you could definitely see that it's not something that sits well on him, leading me to believe that there are issues in this whole little dynamic. Now, Ghost only speaks highly of Kanan. Kanan has yet to speak of Ghost. So we're going to have to see. Now, the most pivotal part of this episode, I think specifically for Ghost's character and where he's going to go with in reference to his story is in a conversation that he has with Tasha at the club where he says, I don't know any old wrinkled drug dealers, Tasha. That doesn't scare you. He also follows that up by saying, we can get out, we can have it all. And then she replies, we already have it all. The way things are my dream. And in that very brief, elevated conversation, we get to see the prime problem that is going to destroy their family. Ghost wants out. He's not going to change his mind about wanting out. And he wants the people around him that love him, that he loves, to see this new defined vision that he has. He has made truth happen. It is happening. It's getting bigger and bigger every single day. And Tommy, Tasha, nobody around him is taking it as seriously as he is. And his big point is that he doesn't want to end up in jail or dead. And by way of Tasha's conversation, all she can say is that he's better, he's not going to get caught. But everybody thinks that they're better. Everybody thinks that they're not going to get caught until they do. And I think, like, at first, I thought, like, in episode 1 or 2, I saw little kisses of death that Tasha actually gave Ghost to the end of their relationship. But it's this conversation that ultimately becomes the kiss of death for their relationship, because she doesn't believe in the new dream. She doesn't want anything more than what they have. And he thinks that what they have is just the very beginning and there's so much further to go. They're literally at an impasse. And we get a similar type of conversation between Ghost and Tommy when they pull up the dude who tried to hit their re-up, which happens a little bit earlier in the episode. And luckily Tommy shows up so Julio doesn't have to catch a bullet at this actual re-up. But they was anticipating it. Ghost and Tommy were anticipating it, so they catch the guy, and the guy screams Annibal's name. Now Tommy calls Ghost in and is pushing Ghost to kill Annibal off the strength of this dude said Annibal's name. And Ghost replies, I ain't going to kill a Primera if I ain't got no proof that he crossed me. And I think that this to me was similar to the conversation that Ghost was having with Tasha, because they kind of have similar relationships. He might be married to Tasha personally, but he's married to Tommy in the game. And Tommy is also not on the same accord with him in the game, and how they moving and the finesse that needs to happen, and how they need to elevate, and how they need to do things differently. Tommy is literally sticking to the tried and true, doesn't want anything to change, and is going to shoot first, set people on fire first, and ask questions later, like the dead sticker boy that they was trying to ask questions, but you know, Tommy actually killed him by accident, so they couldn't ask me any more questions. Now later on in the episode, we see Ghost meet up with Angela, and he has a conversation with her where he says, days like this make me wonder if I'm kidding myself, especially with everything that he has had to do to get where he is. And they really connect over the idea that they find themselves getting lonely in their fighting for their ambitions, growing their career, and doing it all alone. Except for the fact that Ghost, you got a wife and kids. But you know, Angela, go off, sis. Now, I'm not gonna lie, James and Angela have great chemistry, which is punctuated by their first kiss after that lunch in the rain in this episode. But just to be clear, I do not like Angela. I never liked Angela, and I damn sure didn't like Angela with Ghost. But I would be a liar if I said that they didn't look good, happy, and really into each other in the moments that we see them early on in the series. Now, before the end of the episode, we get to see Ghost have another traumatic crashing of his two worlds when Yasmin chokes on a piece of the whale chain from his date last episode with Angela. And it's the symbolism for me. You are taking this relationship with Angela to another level. You just kissed her, and your family is immediately suffering because of your interactions with her. I said what I said. But y'all, let me know if I missed anything in the comment section down below. Let me know what you thought of episode 3 of season 1 of Power. It's your girl Erica Vane. Hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of my Power breakdowns. I am breaking down all of the series as we lead up to Power Book 2, Ghost returning for its second amazing season in November. Hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss it. And check out all of my other Power related content right here on screen. See you in the next one. Bye.